Hello, Nacita School Community. This is Tanya Kitlowski. I am live today from our school building providing you the second of three financial updates. Yesterday, I shared the first update and gave you kind of a high level overview of some things regarding our financial situation. And today, I'm going to continue a little bit of that overview, but also delve a little bit into some of the more detailed components of how schools are funded. And then we will conclude with a session or possibly two regarding the specific details that impact our local taxpayers specifically. So today I just wanted to provide a little bit of overview about our vision. And yesterday I talked about kind of where we are headed as a district and the things we look at to make decisions regarding the needs of our children. This is the highest level view of our vision, and that really we want to promote leadership and learning, and we don't want anything to limit what our kids are capable of. And that is really around that idea that we want to personalize and individualize learning for every single child to the best of our ability. Our mission is to really focus on every child and really preparing them for a world that is consistently changing, but we want them to be really authentically engaged, and we want to think really creatively about how we provide the learning solutions they need to meet those ever-changing needs that are consistent because of the world that we live in. So that is our mission, and we focus on those things with every thought that we have regarding program improvements. So these are some very specific things that we focus on. We are absolutely more focused on how to prepare kids for the real world skills they need in the world of work. And we do that by teaching them more than academic standards. And so we really want to focus on real world skills like critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and how children work with one another. And we want to do that through creating real world dispositions such as respect, engagement, dependability, and self-control. And so those are all priorities that we have within our school system. We also have what we adopted in 2019. This is a strategy map. This is one page of 4. It includes all of our stakeholder groups and how we focus on each of them, including students, staff, families, and community, and then our organization as a whole. Each of those strategic objectives around those stakeholders include the outcomes we want to achieve, and they're enduring. They're what we're focused on all the time. We also have our graduate profile. This was developed in cooperation with our entire community, as well as our vision and mission. We did tours of other school districts. We had some facilitated sessions, and our community helped us develop what is now called our graduate profile. And that includes learner proficiencies, that includes citizenship, communication skills, life skills, and then the academic standards, which we call world-class knowledge. This is our local dashboard. We like to look at the whole child, not just the data from a one-day, one-test result, which is shown through our state report card. So we also monitor the learning around that graduate profile, and this is the way we do that. So each of these metrics include how we look at progress and how we're doing around the metrics that we put into place with our graduate profile. So people can find this on our website with updated information and those metric numbers at your convenience. This is also something we adopted in 2019 at the end of 2019, and that is our community connections profile. And this is us with a really strong priority about connecting with our community. Our children are raised inside a community, and we want our community to be a part of their lives. And to do that, we want partnerships, outreach, service, and communication so we can build that relationship with our community, so our children are able to have the continuity of what it feels like to be a part of a community-based school. We have a dedicated funding source right now for community development in order to meet the needs of developing that relationship. We try really hard to do things to connect our community with our school district so our kids see our community here. They're able to be a part of things out in our community. And those things include this year our police liaison officer that we have in place, or our police resource officer. We have a community outreach coordinator that facilitates classes and outreach events. We also have different suppers and fitness programs that people can take a part of here in our building. And so that particular fund is to support that development. Here's where we get into a little bit about now our revenue limit and how that's determined, and the things that go into making the calculation to determine how much revenue our school district can generate. This is a state statute. Through law, every public school district in the state of Wisconsin has a limited authority to generate revenue, and it's calculated through what's called the revenue limit calculation. And there are three basic things that go into that calculation. One is a 3-year average of student enrollment. We have property values for our school district. That's part of that equation. And then shared costs, which are district expenses that are eligible to be aided by the state. So this is our change in enrollment. You can see that we've stabled out pretty well the last 4 years. We had a little jump in 18-19 that made that 3-year average a little heftier, but now have kind of stabled out with our enrollment at 697 pupils. We have different numbers in our seats because this does not include this information. This is our open enrollment data, and this information is, as we sit today, our open enrollment data is impacted throughout the school year as children come and go, but in general, this is our data for this school year. You will see on the far right-hand column regarding impact, we've been in the red for several years from 2019 to 2022, and just last year as well as this year we're in the black. Basically that means we have more revenue coming in through open enrollment than we have going out, and so this is a nice thing to see as we plan and to address some of the balancing a budget that we plan to address with children coming and going out of our school district. We also have factors that have influenced all of this. Part of it is our 4K program. Our children are educated 4 full days a week. That was a change from what was 2 days a week. We did that in 18-19. And that had a significant impact. We also put some new programs into place that were attracting some students that were seeking those programs elsewhere. But in general, we're feeling really good about the program shifts that happened to get us in the black regarding open enrollment. Another part of the equation of that revenue limit formula, again, the revenue limit is really the amount of revenue a school district is authorized to generate through both state aid and local property taxes. So as you can imagine, one of the things that is considered with the proportion that we need to come up through local property tax is the property value of our school district. Generally speaking, as property values go up, the school mill rate or tax rate goes down. And so you will see that some municipalities grow and have grown faster. Our school district has grown faster or slower as compared to state. All of those things impact the authorization we have to generate revenue. So our local property values in general have continued to be higher than the state average. And since my time here, this is my year 7, we have generally outperformed in terms of total increase the state average. This year, it looks like we're increasing about 23.8% or almost 24%. So again, as that number goes up, the local tax rate goes down because we're capped around the amount of money we can generate, the revenue brought in. So as the determination is made as of what proportion of that revenue is going to be paid for by local property tax, if there's more property for that total amount to be dispersed throughout, your tax rate per thousand goes down. This shows a little bit about the shared costs and the amount of revenue per member in a school district, as well as cost per child. So we have in our school district, we receive the lowest in the state per student we were at $10,000 per child, and we are now through the 23-25 biennium budget. We have raised that to $11,000, and so that is a new revenue for us through a state legislated biennium budget plan. That is state law. So now the state average has jumped to 11,518. Of course, there are higher districts in the state. Every district is based off the time and point we were at in 1992-93 when the revenue limit calculation was put into place. High spending districts had a higher rate per pupil. Low spending districts received a lower rate per pupil, and that rate still exists proportionally up until this last year with this biennium budget, where we started to see a little bit more equity between the lowest spending district and the highest spending district. We saw that shift in this biennium budget. And so that is why, through that law and that shift, why our levy went up this year and why our tax rates would be jumping this year, because our district is actually getting a higher proportion of funding than it has in the past. We've gone from the lowest district of a small percentage to being the lowest district, but now being equal with a larger percentage of districts at that same rate. We still have high districts at 32,076, which I can only imagine if we were able to generate that kind of funding where we would be. We certainly wouldn't need operational referendums, but we're not close to that kind of percentage of revenue at this point. So basically, if we even received the state average, we would have another $360,000 per se. So it gives you some perspective. So that is what I wanted to share with today's update. We are at 12 minutes right now, so I want to conclude for today. I will plan on joining you again on Monday and sharing a little bit more financial information and how some of this is all pulled together with our final authorization, how we generated revenue and what that looks like for us in Necedah. I wish you all a very wonderful weekend. It's Friday and we're heading into what looks like it might be a little wintry mix this weekend. So everybody stay safe, and thank you for joining me today. Again, if you have more questions, feel free to call me right at the school. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And until we meet again on Monday, have a good rest of the day.